some master plans for a full modern campground of several hundred sites. That did not go down very well, so it didn't happen. But is there an opportunity for some limited rustic lodging opportunities in the park to kind of expand the use here? You'll have your opportunity to come. We had to put something in here you didn't like. And then develop an interpretation plan for the park. So it has a lot of history. I was very pleased to see Dave gave me a copy of some history research he's done on the park. So there's a good story to tell here. So we want to tell that to our park visitors. So in a comprehensive way. I mean, there's some news clippings and things in the shelter. There's the sign on the road that says there was a mill here, but there's nothing really comprehensive. So trying to get a better handle on that. This is a bit of a, I don't think headquarters is really the right word for this, but this is what our staff work out of at the park. It has no running water and no bathroom, which is not very good when you're there all day and, you know, dealing with messy stuff in the park and that kind of thing. So we need to do basically analyze whether we want to add a well and septic system and bathrooms here, or would we be better off building a better, newer facility in a more appropriate location. There's obviously pros and cons to both, so we'll be studying that for a while. Contact station needs replacing, and we also want to replace the boardwalk to Lake Michigan. You know, that's the safe way for people to get to the beach from the parking lot. It's kind of a little hidden right now, so and it's just old. It's old and narrow, so we know we're going to have to replace that. We would like to develop an accessible kayak launch on the lake. You know, Duck Lake's a beautiful, quiet, peaceful lake, and to be able to provide, right now you have to kind of drag your canoe or kayak down to the water. This is obviously not on Duck Lake, but that's what an accessible launch looks like. So people with disabilities can enjoy the water just like anybody else can. And in the same vein, we'd like to create an accessible trail loop. There's a little piece of paved trail along the lakeshore right now, but creating a loop where people with any kind of mobility issues, or people pushing strollers, you know, could get out and enjoy a bit more of the park would be nice. And we're not talking all over the park. That would only fit. So if we were like going to pave a trail or put a gravel surface, that would only be really appropriate in the dark green areas. So we're not looking at, you know, paving a crazy trail all the way through the park. Our parking is not sufficient right now. And, you know, that's always a catch-22. You don't want to just keep building more parking and still having expansions onto the road or whatever, but we do need to keep it safe. So we do feel that there is a need to expand the day-use parking lot and the boating access parking lot, which overflows into the day-use parking area, and then you have even less room. And the final item here is just to perform a phase 1 archaeological survey. So if we are going to do any ground disturbance, we need to know what's under the ground before we start digging. There's a little bit more. These are what we call our small or partner projects. So items that don't need a lot of funding. It was requested through our survey to have access from other areas of the park other than just the main road entrance. So maybe developing just a small trailhead parking lot at the Wabaningo Road entry. And by that I mean like a gravel lot for 4 or so vehicles, not a great big paved parking area. Continue working with the Lake Association and the township to keep the channel open when it blocks with sand. It's a continual process. It's Mother Nature, so we just have to deal with it. And then there's a couple of proposals that were presented at our stakeholder meeting for regional trail initiatives. So keeping our ear to the ground or working with people on those and see how the park fits into any of those proposals and working with those. So that is what I have. I'm going to open it up to questions. We do want to make sure we leave plenty of time for you to give your input, because we are going to struggle with the limited amount of input area that we've got, but we'll figure that out, right? So, open it up to, yeah, Jenny.
Want me to come up there or stay here?
If you want to be on TV, you can take the stage.
Well, thank you, Debbie. That was great. I'm Jenny Cook, one of your Michigan Horse Trails representatives, and so I'm just here trying to talk about a little bit about horse trails. I know that Duck Lake does not have any currently. We are allowed as horseback riders at 16 of your 103 state parks. And so we are part of our history and our culture. And if you talk about logging, that all goes around with horses. And horses, just wanted to let you know that, and most of you probably know this, are prey animals. And so they're like a deer or a rabbit, and they eat grass and they fly. And so we just would love to be welcome on public lands. And if we could possibly have an opportunity here, maybe to look at over on the backcountry side and to enter over by the Montego Road, and maybe be only allowed after September 15th. We'll be here during hunting season from November 14th until January 1st, and then maybe be allowed until maybe May 15th. So not here during the summertime, and just stay over in the backcountry area. So we would just really appreciate if we could have some access, and maybe try this with maybe 3 or 4 riders over by the Montego Road, and just see how it goes. We just really appreciate the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. We understand that there's a lot of land that we are managing, and we appreciate any opportunities that we can have. But we are a user group that is so thankful that we give back, and every place where we are welcome, we have a friends group, and we help make the trails, and we have the tools and the knowledge, and we like to work with management teams to make it a good place, and also be able to work with all the other user groups here, and dog walkers and bird watchers, and we love to take anybody who likes birds out for a horse ride, and let us know what birds you're looking for, so as we can be your scouts. So anyways, thanks for the time.
Thank you. Yes.
I use the park probably at least 200 times a year, and winter times become a real problem because they lock the gate. And most of the time there is no snow, and I think it's ridiculous that it's locked. And I see no real reason why a plow that's happening down at the Stevens State Park, opening up the winter camping area, can't swing down here, keep at least 20 to 30 parking spots open, because it's actually fairly dangerous to access getting to the park from Scenic Drive when you're trying to, if you park over there and then try to get into to walk, especially if you want to, be near where the bridge is, because a lot of times a lot of us like to go see the sunsets. There's always dozens and dozens of people watching sunsets. Anytime in the wintertime that it's sunny, there's 40, 50 cars on the road. And it's a dangerous situation, and one of these days somebody's going to get hit. And that lot should be open year-round. It really should. That'd be my biggest thing I'd like to see happen. The other thing I think there's another factor that's been happening is there's no garbage service happening in the wintertime, and there's people walking dogs, and there's been piles of dog fecal bags sitting by the outhouses, and some people even just leave them along the side of the path because there's nowhere to put them. And so I think we need to have garbage service at the same time. When they come through and plow, once a week, go through, pick up all that garbage, bring it out of there. Because it's really a bad form for DNR not to be bringing the garbage out of there and making it so it's done. But I do want to thank the staff. I think that the staff for this park has been absolutely fabulous. The people in the summertime especially, they're very helpful, great people. And one last thing that I think is important to look at is the dog issue. We have a number of people who are violating leash laws, and there are dogs running loose on on the beach, and I've had dogs attack me and not bite me, but I'm standing there, I'm a rock hound, so I'm like trying to get rocks, and I've had a dog just brrr, and this woman did not have any control of her dog. She couldn't even get it leashed. And so why are people not keeping their dogs leashed? So I think we need to have some patrolling going on, and when people are not leashing their dogs, they should get ticketed. It's not right to do that to the rest of us.
Yeah, I will say that Duck Lake is not allowed for dogs off leash problem. We know it's a problem. It's a hard problem to deal with. I don't know, Greg, if you've got anything else to add on the gates or the dogs.
So Duck Lake is not staffed in the wintertime. The staff is laid off essentially the first part of November and comes back for late March. And so that's the primary reason we don't keep things open, because we just don't have the staff. My wintertime staff for both Muskegon and Duck Lake State Park cuts down to 3 people to run the entire place. So that's the primary reason we don't do that. But I am taking notes, and your comments are definitely being recorded, and we'll see, if there's anything that we can do to make those changes.
For the enforcement of the dogs off leash as well, Greg, because historically only had one commissioned ranger at this park, and they work 5 days a week, so there's already 2 days a week where we don't have commissioned staff here. This year we have added a second seasonal ranger that will be commissioned, so we'll have a 7-day-a-week coverage for officers on site.
Yes.
Will you take volunteers to come open and close that? I mean, I live not more than a block away from it.
Realistically, probably not, just because there's some liability that gets involved there,
Well.
so.
Liability waiver.
I'll write it down and we'll discuss it.
Yes.
I'm a dog owner, and I use a park with my dog. I swim my dog in the summer, off the lead, and I swim her primarily at the kayak launch area when nobody is down there. We walk the trail, the sidewalk. It's an excellent scenic route. It's very ADA friendly and whatnot. And when my dog is not swimming, she's on the lead, I also keep an e-collar on her. But there are a lot of dog owners around that would appreciate an area that they could let their dogs get some exercise besides on the lead.